Histoire Saint-Jean, garçon qui prend la mer, qu'a cherché qui boit la vie fait coin. Nèg sa yo te gen tambou kak misère, yo obligé parti quitter famille loin. Yo pas même gen yon destination. Yo sous l'eau, convainc, se convainc. Nèg sa yo te gen yon seul vision. Quitter Haïti fait cap yo prend pour y aller.
It's an honor today to welcome you all in this year's Haiti's Flag Day ceremony. We come together to honor and celebrate the symbol of our nation, the Haitian flag. The Haitian flag is a representation of our struggle for independence and our resilience and unity as a people. So as we raise the flag today, so let's take this as a reminder of the sacrifices made by our ancestors to secure this freedom for us. Our flag is a very strong history behind this. We have a very strong history behind our flag, so we can know, everybody knows its strength, unity for our people. As you can see in the flag, we have l'union fait la force in French, which means there is strength in unity. So as we are going to sing the national anthem today, so I invite everybody to stand up so we can do that in the respect of the flag. So, for a short translation of the national anthem, so I'm going to read this that I prepared so everybody could have a feeling of what this means and how strong it is, because a lot of you might be listening this, but you don't really know so what it means. But we as Haitians, when we are listening to that national anthem, so we always get goosebumps. And then I remember when I was smaller than that, so when every morning, every single day in the morning, all the radio in the country is playing the national anthem, and all the schools from kindergarten and to secondary schools, everywhere we have to sing that national anthems, and with respect, and then with a lot of things also, a lot of respect with that. So I'm going to read a short translation of that national anthem so everybody could understand what does that mean. So everybody now, so you guys could sit down. So yeah, it goes like this: for country, for honor, for unity, and for fraternity, let's join together without ceasing under the flag of our ancestors. Let's march, unite our voices and our hearts. Long life the union, and long live the nation. Let's work hard to bring forth prosperity. Let's stay within the bounds of law. Let's be servants of justice. Let's honor our forefathers. Let's respect the flag. Let's work for our nations. Let's cherish our children's future. Let's fight for a dignity. Let's march towards a better future. Let's hold firmly the banner of liberty that our ancestors fought to give us that freedom. Let's sing our proud national anthem that our ancestors live for us. United for God and for liberty, that we may live or die, but our cause endures. So there's more to say because there are a lot of verses, but I just choose this part so you guys could have a feeling of that. So I'm going to leave the mic for the next speaker right now.
Greetings, everyone. If you look on your program, you will notice that the first speaker is Pierre Labossiere, and the biographies of the speakers are in the middle page and over on the third page. But we have a video from Pierre coming from California because he had to be at a Solidarity March in the Bay Area right now. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon there now. So he couldn't be here to see you on Zoom, and he had a difficult time giving us the video. He said it's hard to talk to himself. He would have liked to be here. But when you see him, you get to meet him virtually, and then, well, not even virtually because he's not going to be actually here, but he is going to be getting to understand what we are doing in Guyana. If you notice, I'm going to read his biography. So Pierre Labossiere is co-founder of the Haiti Action Committee, HAC, and the Haiti Emergency Relief Fund, HERF, established in the Bay Area of San Francisco in 1991 and 2004, respectively. Working with Haiti's grassroots movement that is engaged in the struggle for justice and democracy, HAC and HERF provide information regarding conditions on the ground, assist refugees, and support community-based initiatives and institutions working for the liberation and the rebuilding of Haiti. Pierre was born in Haiti, moved to New York City in 1970, and later to Oakland. He has been active in various organizations around issues of racial, social, and economic justice. He has been involved in the struggle for Haitian liberation and self-determination, and has participated in community mobilizations against US-imposed Haitian dictators and the deportation of Haitian refugees. When I first made contact with Pierre, as I said to the friend who introduced me from Belize, who herself did a one-man protest in Belize this afternoon, I felt like a real burden had been released, because it is difficult in a country that is more than half the population of the whole Caribbean, because that is the size of Haiti. It's difficult to understand where to begin to engage. One of the things that I remember from my little reading of African history is a statement that the young man from Burkina Faso, I've forgotten his name now, Malidoma Somé said. He said, some of us need to forget in order to continue living. And I would imagine I would add to that, because the trauma of what we went through is so great that there's something in us, in order to continue, we need to forget. And he said, but some of us need to remember in order to go on living. And I'm not passing a judgment, but it makes absolute sense. Those of us who have created Société Culturelle Haïtienne, the organization that has collaborated with the Department of Language and Cultural Studies to bring this event off, we believe in the second, or we are of the second kind, those who need to remember to move on. And one of the things that stands out in our minds is that we remember that we all came on the same slave ships, or the same fleets of ships. And they put us down in different plantations, but we shared that experience. And the experience of the Haitian Revolution is the one that unites us all and gives us hope for freedom. It is, I would argue, it is the only experience that gives us hope. And as many of you will know, and as Martin Carter said, when he spoke about the strange invader watching you sleep and aiming at your dream. We are faced everywhere in the Caribbean and Latin America, in the ghettos of the African American communities of the United States, Canada. We are faced by that strange invader aiming at our dream, and even as we sleep. So how do we strengthen ourselves? By remembering, relearning, and recommitting to the people of Haiti who shed their blood so that all of us could be free. And this first, I would say it's the first time in Guyana's history, unless we find the evidence that it had happened before, we have decided to hold the flag of Haiti up high. The only other time it must have happened would have been 1972 when we had the first Carry Festa. The speakers will correct me if I'm wrong. And decide to celebrate, acknowledge, and recommit to the people of Haiti this evening.
Good evening. My name is Pierre Labossiere, and I'm a co-founder of the Haiti Action Committee. We are based in Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area, in California, and we've been around for 31 years, working in solidarity with the grassroots movement in Haiti. The grassroots movement dedicated to building democracy, rebuilding the destroyed Haiti, and moving forward so that our people can have a seat at the table and make decisions that affect their daily lives. And I want to thank particularly the Société culturelle haïtienne and the University of Guyana for having this event today in solidarity with the Haitian people. I want to thank the many organizers, particularly Charlene Wilkinson and others, and the other members of the organization. I also take this opportunity to pay special tribute to our dear sister, Andaye, who was so supportive of Haiti and carried out the work to mobilize people right after the coup that ousted President Aristide in 2004. I want to pay special tribute as well to Dr. Walter Wadney, whose book, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, impacted me personally and impacted so many. But me, in terms of a big change in my thinking and my development, in learning about the history of our people. When you look at parts of the book always come to my mind, particularly when it describes how African societies were disrupted, how the economies were wrecked by the slave trade, by the kidnapping, and the trafficking of our brothers, of our foremothers and forefathers. And this an impact that lasts to the very day. When I look at Haiti today, a lot of this is very significant and relevant, because what's going on in Haiti, the series of kidnappings, the attacks against communities by the so-called gangs. These are not gangs. These are paramilitary death squads, financed, equipped, organized to disrupt the economy of Haiti, destroy its people, kidnap people, take money from their families, and that destroys those families' economy and their outputs. There are many fields that are left fallow in Haiti, where people are afraid to go work these fields, or afraid to go and do commerce between various communities. Very much what Dr. Walter Wadney described in his book, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. So when we are looking at the whole talk of development, please let us keep that in mind, why Haiti is so underdeveloped. There are many aspects of it that have been relevant throughout the history of Haiti, but particularly today. So let me start with the coup that I said. How did we get here? How did we get to this situation today that is causing so many of our brothers and sisters to flee Haiti and to end up either dead on the high seas or dying as they try to cross the border into the various countries of the Americas and into the United States? How many of our brothers and sisters are being victimized in the Dominican Republic as well, and other countries of the Caribbean? What led us to that? So I can say that the present situation, the present plight of the Haitian refugees have to do with the coup d'etat of 2004 that was orchestrated, organized, put together by France, the US, and Canada. And they organized it at a conference in Canada, and they called it the Ottawa Initiative. I believe it was in late 2002, early 2003, where they planned the overthrow of President Aristide and the Famille Lavalas government. This was a government that the people of Haiti voted for massively, elected, and at all levels. And there were thousands of local officials also who were overthrown by this coup d'etat that took place on February 2004. This was the bicentennial year of the Haitian Revolution. And it took place after a campaign to demonize not only President Aristide, but the Famille Lavalas government, which extended throughout the country in terms of thousands of elected officials, from city council members, mayors, members of parliament, senators, and also members of the executive. This was a brutal and bloody coup d'etat in which it's estimated that over 10,000 people lost their lives, continuing to today. Right now, Haiti is under occupation. It is under a U.S. United Nations occupation, though they try to mask it in several ways by pretending as if Ariel Henry, the current dictator, is legitimate. He is not. There was no election that put him in office. He was imposed on the Haitian people by the so-called core group. The core group used to call themselves Friends of Haiti. With friends like that, we don't need enemies. And the core group is made up of France, the US, Canada, and several other, and representatives of Spain, Germany, and you have also Brazil is in it as well. And you also have a representative of the United Nations, a representative of the Organization of American States, and a representative of the European Union. They call themselves the core group, but Haitians call them the core gang. They are the ones who make the daily decisions in regards to Haiti. And they have Ariel Henry, their imposed dictator on the Haitian people, to dutifully, obediently carry out the dictates of this little group of imperialist powers. And what's been going on is that for the past 19 years, ever since February 2004, the Haitian people have had to live under this occupation, an occupation that has brought with it massacres against our people. Why the massacres? Because when President Aristide was kidnapped by the special forces of France, the US, and Canada, and forcibly taken to the Central African Republic in Africa, the Haitian people rose up en masse to say no. They protested. Their protests were met with incredible violence, and there were many massacres that took place at the time by UN troops. Brazil came as commander of the UN forces, and this is Brazil under Lula, socialist Lula. And the UN troops were made up of various countries from the Americas and other places in the world, but particularly what's the saddest part is these were countries in the Americas that called themselves socialist. They were the bulk of the troops that came in as the UN forces to impose, to support the coup d'etat, to impose the dictatorship at the time of La Tortue and Boniface Alexandre. People who were non-elected, they were just brought in and put at the head of Haiti. And so this was the situation. Only Venezuela, Cuba, and the countries of CARICOM not only refused to recognize the illegitimate coup d'etat government, but also refused to participate in sending troops. You also had the African Union that took a very good stand against it. But otherwise, that's what the people of Haiti were dealing with on a daily basis. This occupation, in addition to massacres, it brought us cholera, which killed close to 20,000, if not more, depending on the various reports that you hear. But it was terrible. It wrecked our economy also. And so for the past 19 years, Haiti has been the conditions have been worsening and worsening and worsening, the economic conditions of our people. Why did the coup d'etat take place against President Aristide and the Famille Lavalas political organization, the government of the Famille Lavalas political organization, which was overwhelmingly, massively elected by the Haitian people? It was elected on a basis of transforming the country, ending corruption, investing the resources of the country, the tax money that the people are paying to the government. Never before had those tax monies been returned to the population in the form of services such as schools, such as hospitals, clinics, we are talking healthcare, such as sanitation to keep the Haitian environment clean and productive, such as investing in local agriculture so that our farmers could have a source of credit that would be coming to them where they can produce the kind of food that the population needed, not for export, but for local consumption to deal with the problem of hunger and starvation. The Aristide administration was investing in clean drinking sources in water, providing clean drinking water to the population, investing also in forming cooperatives such as farming cooperatives, fishing cooperatives, and building roads infrastructure so there could be commerce in the country and people could trade with each other. So these are the various things that were occurring in Haiti. Also, the government was heavily invested in a program of literacy because our people, our brothers and sisters, throughout the Duvalier period, we are talking going to 1986, only 15% of the population could read and write, a situation that the Lavalas government was vowed to change. And so there was massive literacy campaign. There was a number of institutions established throughout the country called Alpha Restos. These were restaurants, government-funded restaurants, where people could buy a low-cost meal for practically nothing, while at the same time you could learn how to read and write. First feeding the body, and then feeding the spirit, feeding the intellectual, as to improve the intellectual ability of our people to move forward. And so these were many adults and many children learned to read and write through those programs. There was a lot of subsidies for students, free transportation. The investing was into free transportation, so students could get to their schools. And subsidies were provided so that school books, uniforms were 70%. 70% subsidies were allocated towards these schools and tuition, books, and the various things that students needed to go to their schools. So this was a program to move Haiti forward. We were not there yet, but we were close. And this program was a platform of the Famille Lavalas political organization called Investir dans l'humain, investing in people. In that program, all of the plans of the Haitian government were put together. People knew it. It wasn't something that came from the minds of the Lavalas people, the leadership of the movement. It was from the people themselves who express what their needs were, their desires. Haiti has a lot of resources. No, we are not the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. We are one of the most robbed people in the Western Hemisphere. Haiti has gold, Haiti has copper, Haiti has bauxite, Haiti has a number of things, marble, and there is oil in Haiti as well. So all of these resources were being stolen from our people, and our people never benefited from the monies that were provided before. So the Lavalas government wanted to change all of that. That was the result. That was one of the reasons, one of the many reasons for the coup d'etat that took place on the year of our bicentennial of the Haitian Revolution in 2004. And so it was a brutal coup d'etat, which resulted in many of our brothers and sisters having to flee Haiti because of the persecution, because of the mass killings, and because the worsening economic conditions were atrocious, that people could not make a living. This is what's not being said. And so today what we have in Haiti is a result of that coup. People did not accept the coup, and still today they haven't accepted it. Even though the media do not report much on the resistance in Haiti, people have been taking to the streets in protest. As a result, the state has mobilized, the Haitian state, which is under occupation, the puppet regimes that have come into office since 2004, even though some of them supposedly there were elections, but those were fraudulent elections organized by the United Nations. I was there to witness one of those elections, completely fraudulent, and that was the election of 2016. And there were, ever since the coup It's been fraudulent elections upon fraudulent to fool people of the world, to make them think that they are real, that these are elected representatives in Haiti. But with Ariel Henry, all pretense of that was eliminated. And so they imposed them, and now they are trying to do another round of elections, fraudulent elections, to justify and show, well, elections are taking place. Don't be fooled by this. So back to the current situation with the death squads. Those so-called gangs are nothing but the same death squads that Papa Doc and Baby Doc Duvalier had used against the Haitian population back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And during that time, many brothers and sisters were massacred. After the coup d'etat of 2004, we saw a resurgence of these death squads again. One of them was called La Métis Manchette. They have had several names: La Mécosovo in the north, La Métis Manchette in the Port-au-Prince area, the Bel Air area. And those were death squads that were killing our brothers and sisters, terrorizing to destroy the resistance. Many of them used machetes that had the initials PNH, according to several reports. PNH stands for Police Nationale d'Haïti, or the Haitian National Police. And it was common knowledge, it was reported on, how the police would just stand down and let these death squads affiliated with them carry out massacres against the population. Same as the UN forces. Many times they were not involved, they stood back and let those death squads operate. So what we are seeing today with the G9 Federation, led by a former policeman trained by the UN, named Jimmy Cherizier, and there are several others, various names, such as Sergo Alexis, who has since died, and Sergo Alexis in the area of La Saline, and so many other groups with their various leaders. They've been carrying out the same repression, brutal massacres against the population, and that's what we are seeing. So the Haitian people, in spite of all of that, are rising up and saying, no, we are not going to tolerate this. We are not going to live like that. You can massacre us all you want, but we are going to continue standing. So last week, there was another big demonstration by factory workers who are being paid starvation wages, unable to sustain their families, unable to put their children in school or their loved ones when they are sick. And so they took to the streets. The Haitian police was brutally repressed this demonstration. And we are talking a week ago. I'm forgetting the date now. It's about I would say on the 11th, on May 11th, May 10th, May 11th, that this happened. And it was a terrible thing. And so what we are seeing right now, there are many accusations that the Haitian police have been in cahoots with a lot of those so-called gangs, the death squads. As a matter of fact, this is not me saying it. They've been denounced in various videos. They've been denounced by even the gangs themselves, talking about their affiliation with the police. Some of them are organized by the gangs themselves, and they have organized their own gangs. And so people know about this very much. And so this is the situation. But the Haitian people, about 2 weeks ago, have risen up into what you call a Bois Calais campaign, where communities have organized themselves in self-defense groups. And they have connected with some individual police officers who have been sickened by the situation and have their conscience have gotten an awakening, and they are joining with the population in order to help people defend themselves. So this is what we are seeing in Haiti today. I want to urge you to remain in solidarity with the Haitian people, to stand strong with us. Please do not fall for the hype about Haiti needs a robust intervention in order to quell this. No, the intervention, the presence of the UN troops, the training that they have provided to the Haitian police, these are the things that are at the root cause of the violence being perpetrated against the Haitian people. And so this is the reality of it. Don't fall for it. No to any kind of intervention. Let's stand up in the spirit of Andaye. and they stood up and really helped mobilize so that CARICOM could do the right thing. Let's do the same thing today. So Société Culturelle Haïtienne, it's very welcome that you know what the things that you continue to do the work that you have been doing. It's very important that you do so. And also to bring light, to bring information to the people of Haiti. Stay in touch with us. Our website is www.haitisolidarity.net, and that's the website of the Haiti Action Committee, and Haiti Action Committee Facebook. We're also on Facebook. Thank you so much, and all the very best. A luta continua, forward ever, backward never. Thank you.
We will now invite, I'm not going to surprise them, I'm going to invite Naya, our drummer, to come forward and give us his first presentation, and then take us into that village where the language of the drum is the dominant language. Thank you.
My first experience as being a drummer actually was, I attended Queens College from 1972 to 77. And whilst there, certain times in the afternoon, I used to hear drums playing. And my investigation, I found that it was coming from the national park. When I followed the sound of the drum, when I actually was there, you know, the language just get into me. And I found out that these drums were actually from Haiti. When Lovina Wisdom was here at Carrie Festa, she stayed on and started the National Dance School, which is still functioning, and some drums were there, and I began playing the drums and learning the rhythms. And so my introduction to drums was the Haitian drums, the rhythms of Haiti was introduced to me. And I subsequently learned certain other playing of drums and so on. But then something significant happened recently. I woke up one morning and I just get a message, you know what? You get the branch from the royal palm and get it and plait it. And I make some bands, you know, hand bands from the royal palm. And that was the same day that I was invited to be here, to be participating along with our Haitian brothers. And when I do a little research, I found out that that same royal palm, it's here on the flag of Haiti. So I really can't explain much more of what really I was feeling and what I was going through. So that is my just a little short. I will tell you the rest with the drums.
It's really the first time I'm seeing Clifford drumming. I'm a skin growing. So the performative, we hope, becomes the lived, the living, the lived experience, the lived meaning and being. So performativeness, I'm inventing a word, should not just be something you see on a stage, on the screen, and then you go back to life. But the performative should be the enhancement of life. Our next speaker is Roger Persaud, a United States Air Force veteran. Using his aviation experience, Roger applied root cause analysis to history for a more accurate understanding of important events. After serving, he enjoyed 35 years in the airline business. He has appeared on national TV and in the US 7 times, including a 30-minute interview on the Chavis Chronicles. A lifelong sports enthusiast, he is the most frustrated ping pong player on the planet. I invite Roger. He has a presentation to make to our library here at UG, so I will also invite one of our librarians to step forward to receive the gift. Roger.
It is so fitting that I present this book, A Labor of Love, to a university library. This is a full circle because I learned of the Haitian Revolution from a book I borrowed from a high school library. Now let's put this into context. I was 14 years old, 1970, 4 years after Guyana obtained, achieved independence. And here I was reading a story about a tiny Caribbean territory that beat 3 European powers in a struggle for freedom. I couldn't believe it. First of all, I couldn't believe that a tiny Caribbean territory became responsible for 50% of French GDP. That's amazing. This is France we're talking about. France and Britain and Spain, these guys had been pilfering the world. And yet, the biggest bounty they ever had came from Haiti. So I read this story, and I wondered why they didn't teach this story in my school. Okay, 14 years old, you can't do much. I went to the United States. I went to the state of Oklahoma. I ended up in the state of Oklahoma after serving in the military. I decided to do a degree. They said, you have to study Oklahoma history. In Oklahoma history, I learned of the Louisiana Purchase. The Louisiana Purchase is the largest real estate deal in the history of the world. And the Louisiana Purchase would not have happened if the Haitian Revolution did not defeat Napoleon Bonaparte. Now, they don't want us to know that a black army defeated Napoleon Bonaparte. They don't want us to know that. But they really don't want us to know. By the way, Naya, drums are powerful. No wonder the Europeans were afraid of the drum. That was a powerful session. Thank you, my brother. So what we're looking at is the United States. You say, okay, so Haiti beat France. What does that have to do with the United States? Up to 1800, the United States just existed on the East Coast and the West Coast. The entire center of the United States, from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up and into Canada, was owned by France. Napoleon specially bought it in 1800 and dreamed of creating a Western empire in the United States. He was going to drive slavery back into Haiti and get another barrel full of money and develop his Western kingdom. Now, when you say the term Louisiana Purchase, a lot of people believe it's the tiny state of Louisiana. No, it is 828,000 square miles. It involves 15 states. The entire states of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, South Dakota, parts of North Dakota, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Minnesota, and of course, Louisiana. So this is a bounty. This is a debt America could never repay. But they won't even admit that this is where it came from. The struggle that Haiti went through, a 12-year battle, and I don't know how many of you know the story. If you do know the story, indulge me. This battle started fermenting, but somebody from a Muslim cleric was deported from Jamaica because he was teaching slaves how to read. Dutty Boukman. Dutty Boukman was learned, he was educated, he came to Haiti, and of course the struggle had started, but it needed organization. They had little revolts here and there, but it needed organization. He provided the organization. He hooked up with Cecile Fatima of Voodoo Mambo, and they created a scenario where information was shared and the whole revolution was made to happen. Now, these guys were fighting with whatever they had. They had no uniforms, they had no weapons, they had no horses. They somehow defeated the local French. Then the reinforcements came in from France. They defeated them also. Now this is the part a lot of people don't know. Instead of going back to France because there was confusion in France, they had killed the king and the Republicans were rising. Matter of fact, France is going to declare an abolition of slavery in 1794. They went to Jamaica and enlisted the British. The British came in, 55,000 troops. They spent 10 million pounds. They fought for 3 years and left. And when the British left, the British general said, the way these guys are fighting for freedom, slavery will not last very long. He predicted that. So now it was a free-for-all. Everybody jumps into Haiti. England and France are at war again, and the Spanish decide to jump in. The first uniform Toussaint Louverture and his black army would wear was a Spanish uniform. Imagine that. But the Spanish offered the soldiers freedom, he offered them horses, and he offered them weapons. And it was a no-brainer. They took it. Just about the time they took it, there was another invasion. You know, they're fighting in France. It's confusion in France. You have those loyal to the king and the Republicans, and they're fighting, and it's confusion. And one group of Frenchmen are raiding another one. And the guy who first attacked Toussaint now is begging for his help, Laveau. Laveau is now begging for his help. He comes to his aid, and the whole thing changes. Toussaint knew that Napoleon had risen to power. He knew he was going to come back. He had his people in Paris that were telling him what was happening. Toussaint was such a diplomat, and a lot of people in Haiti at the time sent their kids to Paris to study. His two sons were in Paris studying, and he had developed a relationship with Napoleon's mother-in-law and subsequently Napoleon's wife. Napoleon's mother-in-law owned land in Haiti, so they talked about how they were going to deal that. Napoleon invited Toussaint's sons to Haiti and held them captive. And when he started the expedition, the plan was to use the sons to get Toussaint to surrender. This is the evil that we're dealing with. He would use the man's own children. But it gets even worse. There's a statement that every time I hear it, I cringe, because the people that say it, they don't know what they're talking about. They say Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, but there's a reason for that. Haiti gained their independence. Dessalines declared independence in 1804. I know all the brothers know that. 21 years later, France came back with gunboats, surrounded Haiti, and demanded reparations. They demanded reparations for the lives that they took. 200,000 Africans were killed in a 12-year struggle, and they demanded reparations for that because they claimed it was their property. That is the most audacious reparations claim in history, and it's actually the first one. And Haiti paid that debt for over 100 years. And that is what impoverished Haiti. Now, there's a little bit more to that. Nobody was allowed to go do business in Haiti. Haiti was blacklisted. But people snuck in. A few German businessmen snuck in. And at the beginning of World War I, the United States says, oh, we can't trust those Germans in Haiti. So the United States came in, invaded Haiti, took over the Haitian economy, and controlled the economy until 1947. But really, they have never left. They really have never left. Now they're under the umbrella of the UN, Bill Clinton, and a whole bunch of other things, but it's still the United States occupying Haiti, taking resources out of the country of Haiti. This is something that's been going on forever. We need to get more people to understand what is going on. We need to realize that Toussaint Louverture and the Haitian people became the head of liberation for the whole region. He helped all those South American revolutionaries, including Simón Bolívar. That's one of the reasons they hated him so much. So we have got to come together. People have got to understand, like Charlene said at the beginning, they brought people on ships, and suddenly we become Trinidadians, Haitians, Bahamians, this is nonsense. It's the same people they brought. And people need to understand that we are one. We are one kin. And we have been dehumanized, for lack of a better term. We have been dehumanized. What I write about is omitted history. And one of the biggest things in omitted history is the linkage between the Haitian Revolution and the development of the United States. That is omitted history. There's a lot more. There's the Moor occupation of Europe, which lasted for 800 years, where the Moors educated Europe. The Moors taught them medicine, gave them toothbrushes, put in sewer systems. I mean, it's amazing. There's a documentary I invite you to watch. It's done by a British lady. It's called When the Moors Ruled Europe. Watch it. It's fantastic. Okay, and you can understand a lot of things. At the beginning, when Charlene introduced me, she said, I use root cause analysis. Yes, you hear about these things like the Inquisition, but why did they happen? You hear about Caesar Augustus. You know, Caesar Augustus, if anybody's read the Bible, you know Caesar Augustus was all up in Egypt and the Middle East around the time of Jesus. But they don't tell you he tried to go in further into Africa and butt up against a Cushite army led by a one-armed black woman that whooped his butt for 3 years. But they don't tell you anything about that. They hide African history. There's a map, a Catalan map, from 1311. That's the way they thought the size of the world was. You don't see many people's pictures on a map, but on that map is a picture of Mansa Musa, the former emperor of Mali, who is still today considered the richest man who ever lived. But they don't want to. And there's more recent history. One of the stories in my book is about the Tulsa Massacre. Now, they tell us when the airplanes ran into the World Trade Center, that was the first time aircraft were used in terrorism. That is not so. The Tulsa police force used Molotov cocktails and did a demolition of an African community, 35 square blocks, 300 businesses, 1,400 people lost their lives. The Tulsa Massacre is real, and there were 21 more massacres like that in the early part of the 1900s. These are things that they hide from history. We got to stop. We got to learn. All these things you can find on Google, by the way. The story of the Osage Indians, these are fascinating stories. But we need to get an understanding of our brothers and sisters in Haiti and how they have paid a price that we have gained. They have paid a price that we have enjoyed. They started it. By the way, this revolution is the first successful revolution since Spartacus, 1,900 years prior. And they hide it? This is the first successful slave revolt in 1,900 years, and they try to hide it. Why? We have got to get our people more understanding, more involved. I thank you very much. I thank the department for hosting us. I thank you, Charlene, and I will turn it over to Pierre or Gerald. Clifford.
As I'm presenting this book to once again, is the America Should Be Grateful to Haiti, written by Roger Persaud, one of our speakers. And now, I have the pleasure to welcome on stage Kebre Copeland. He's a graduate of UG, and he has been going to a lot of countries in the African continent. And he's presently the Ikemba president. So that's the first youth organization in Guyana, not to say Guyana, but the Caribbean at large. So welcome on stage, Kebre Copeland.
Thank you very much, Clifford, for that introduction. And even before I start my presentation, I just want you to give another round of applause for Clifford himself, a young Haitian who's here in Guyana about 3 or 4 years now. You could correct me, Clifford. How many years you've been here in Guyana? 5 years. Correct. The first time I met Clifford in the first conversation was a very enlightening one. You know, he knows the language of English, French, of course, Haitian Creolese, Spanish, and a bit of Portuguese. A very talented young man. Let's give him one round of applause. Now, I must say it's a pleasure to be here on this very special day where we acknowledge the flag of Haiti. We acknowledge its struggles. It's a pleasure because I believe you are my family. You know, Haiti and Guyana is not so different. We both share a history that's linked to the enslavement of people of African descent, that transatlantic slave trade. And our struggles, of course, are very much interlinked. Just as the speaker before me, and I'd like to applaud him as well, Roger Persaud, I just want to give another round of applause. I know I'm going to get you guys clapping, but I must respect his efforts in giving us that history of Haiti, a history that, of course, people would have tried to hide and maybe manipulate. But I'd just like to thank him for giving that information. He's made my job much easier. But Haiti, of course, is the pioneers of freedom. 1804, the first victorious revolution, the first black republic, Haiti. Seeing that flag being raised, I'm not a Haitian, but I can connect to it. As an advocate for reparations for people of African descent, I could understand the struggles of our foreparents. We were never slaves, we were enslaved. Sadly, our culture, our people have been destroyed. Our history is only sticked at that point of when we have been enslaved, not before. So all that we know of is shackles and chains, being whipped, castrated, being sent across the Caribbean, working for free. Sadly, that's what we know. That's what our children grew up knowing, which makes us some bit of inferior. Everything that is bright and powerful does not look like me. Thank God for Black Panther. God rest the soul of Chadwick Boseman. This is what has happened to us. But there is a way forward. The road to freedom lies in our ability to organize. The road to freedom lies in our ability to come together and to support each other's efforts, supporting each other's businesses, whether it be in academics, whether it be to support each other's in arts, in culture. If we do not organize, just as Toussaint Louverture would have organized in Haiti, which was very successful against France more than one time, and even Europe, we will not be able to move forward towards freedom. Because even though after 1804 and even after the Emancipation Proclamation, freed physically, we're still left with that mental enslavement, whereby in our minds, we're enslaved by the history, And not only us, even to persons who look down on us are enslaved by that history. Because history has not only affected persons of African descent, history has affected everyone who is privy to that history, to even see us the way that they see us. As my friend before me said, what would I say, half human or non-human, half man, half beast, as they would have called us. So how do we chart a way forward? How do we direct ourselves towards real freedom? Because freedom, of course, if you take away, there are persons who were enslaved, who had shackles and chains, who are more free than most persons today, who have nothing on their hands, their necks, their feet, their minds. And I believe that if you're mentally free, you're more free than somebody who has the ability to get up and go wherever they want. So what I like to challenge persons, and I like to challenge both persons who are Haitian here today and both persons who are Guyanese, start to look at new ways of seeing the way forward. I always like to make reference to the Black Panther movement that happened in the US. And why? Because I believe you have to organize amongst yourself and stop begging for pity. Even though I am a reparation advocate who will continuously hold those who oppressed us accountable for their acts against us, enslaving us, taking away our culture, and of course, benefiting financially from our labor, which was free. I will also ask my people who have been tarnished by that history, to also repair themselves, because reparation starts with you. If Europe, US, and all those stakeholders who played a part in enslavement would have given us reparations tomorrow, let's say hard cash, because when we hear reparations, the first thing comes to mind, how much money, who's going to pay? I will tell you truly that reparations is far more than money, but money is very important. If they should give us money tomorrow, they would have succeeded instead of us, because we're not mentally ready. We might go and buy some Ferraris, we might open a strip club, we might do things because our people are generally not ready for that financial payout. It's important for us to prepare ourselves, whatever reparation shall come. I see my brother Elton McCray at the back there. I just want to acknowledge him. He's a member of the Guyana Reparations Committee, the senior body of my youth organization. Just give him a round of applause. He's been doing great work. If you check him up on YouTube, very, very instrumental senior folk. But going back and boiling down, because I know you only have a certain amount of time, and Charlie Wilkinson is really looking at me, we must start to repair and start to support each other in different endeavors. As an advocate for reparations, the first point when we look at the CARICOM reparations 10-point plan is to first give it a formal apology. And while we're looking forward for the oppressors to apologize to us, we must also apologize to ourselves. Because a lot of persons know better, but we just decide to stay within the norms and say, what man, I can't do anything different. I believe as a people we have a chance, we have the ability and more than capable of repairing some of the damages personally, even before we get external help. And trust me, it's very important that we gain that personal change before we can get that external change. It goes back to just speaking about it. It goes back to us understanding our worth. And when you see that flag, you should understand how resilient those people were. A people who they say were inferior, a people who they say were half man, half beast, a people who they say could not read, could not do anything for themselves. They're very primitive. Won the wars continuously, years and years over, for persons who had guns, who had ships. We started with nothing, but we overpowered them. That showed the resilience of a people. And I believe that that is a story that we should continue to teach across the Caribbean. Because yes, in Guyana, the 1763, we started a revolution which was not successful to the point whereby we took over Guyana. But Haiti, of course, did us the honors by actually doing it. After that, the Europeans, the Americans, and so on realized, you know what? If they can fight so, and this speaks to how the importance of one person standing up. If one Caribbean country can stand up and fight against our powers and succeed, the rest will think it is possible. What I'm saying to everyone here, if you get up and start to say, look, I am a human being, I am resilient, I am strong, I am mighty, I'm capable of achieving everything that anyone and any other race can achieve. And I'm glad, of course, we have a mixture of persons of different ethnicities here as well, because this is the message for everyone. I always say that once you're against crimes of humanity, you're for reparations. Because what has been done to people of African descent, even when we speak about indigenous genocide, was a crime against humanity. Killing people, taking away their culture, taking away their names, taking away their families, separating us is a crime against humanity. And we shall continue to speak against it. I've done so. My team has been organized since 2017, and we've represented this cause in Africa, Trinidad, Jamaica, Antigua, Barbuda, and even in the United States. I would like to ask my Haitian brothers as well to partner with us. I know you did once on a television program, etc., but it'll be good if you can partner with us to see how we can forge our efforts towards reparations. And reparations, of course, has different facets. It has the financial aspect. It has how we self-repair. It has, when persons we talk about, I know the Rastafarians were very strong on repatriation, going back to Africa, going back to the land. And not just going back, but going back and there be resources and a way to actually restart life. There are several things that must be done. But just to come to a close, I'd like to thank everyone for being here. I know I would say it's a bonding group. I wouldn't say small, it's a very bonding group. Your appreciation for not only the Haitian flag, but for the culture of Haiti, for the struggles of our ancestors who would have fought for freedom is very commendable. I would hope that things like this doesn't start today and end today, but continues, and we see more and more people coming into the rooms, speaking about the history and the culture, and of course, organizing towards that road of freedom. Thank you very much.
Once again, I am back. So don't forget that we have a very rich culture in Haiti, and so when it comes to dance, song, we have a lot of that, and we have a lot of great artists as well. So, but now we are going to call on stage Joanne Milse. She's Asian. She's going to interpret Asian music. The title is For Haiti, and that's, Pour Haiti. This is the Haitian Creole, and the title in English, I would translate it For Haiti. If you speak Spanish, Por Haiti. She's a nurse. She's going to sing for us.
Haïti, si ouais j'oti vini, c'est si j'ai que m'choisi, c'est parce que m'a souffri. Si ouais que mélodie que ou attendez en gentil, c'est comme ça moi senti. Moi là devant chéri, m'a regardé au cap de pas fini, moi pas qu'à m'imiter. Chagrin, tristesse, métacré mort, pour yo finak la vie. À l'homme prend plume pour m'écrire, écrire. Pour demander au pardon. Demander au pardon pour couper qu'à l'autre frère yo baou. Pardonnez au tichou pour radou yo chiré pour carou yo maltraité yo fait ça sans penser en moi ta relé en moi qui laisse qui pral tande pour vinn délivrer C'est celle les trois petits mots moi capoté sur un petit bout de papier pour me dire que moi désolé. Hey. Quoi moi désolé c'est vrai. Yon ti chanté pour Haïti, pour me dire senti ça senti. Yon ti chanté pour Haïti, pour me dire avec lui. Yon ti chanté pour Haïti, pour me dire senti ça senti. Yon ti chanté pour Haïti, pour me dire avec lui. Oh Haïti, conscience moi fait que moi pas qu'à la guerre avec ma vérité. Oh oui, bria va courir, nouvelle va gagner. Laisse ça tout haïtien ensemble à mettre mes noms pour faire un seul chemin. Message là va passer, l'en libéré attendez. Force nous non l'union liée, non l'union, non l'union liée. Moi pas qu'arrêter. Papier fin mouillé, vision troublée, oh non mal, si un nous deux. Yon ti chanté pour Haïti, yon ti lumière, everybody, pour Haïti, yon ti prière pour Haïti. Yon ti pitié pour Haïti, yon ti chanté pour Haïti, yon ti lumière pour Haïti, yon ti prière pour Haïti, yon ti pitié pour Haïti, yon ti chanté pour Haïti. Pour me dire senti ça senti, yon ti chanté pour Haïti, pour me dire avec lui.
I just come back just to give again a little translation of what that song means. It's a letter that the artist is sending to Haiti to say that I feel what you are going through, everything this country is going through at the moment. Yes, we feel it, and we are conscious about it. And we are working for better Haiti. So, and when this moment comes, all the Haitians is going to put together to walk in the same path. So the way of success, the way of liberty and freedom for all in the world. So this is basically what this song is mean. So Miss Charlene going to introduce the next speaker for us. So I'm going to leave the stage.
Right. I also want to mention how I met Gerald Pereira, who I'm now going to introduce, and he will be the final main speaker for this evening. I met Gerald because his daughter was in my class at UG, And I just wanted to use that example of what a parent's influence on a child could be, because she used to stun the class with her essays, and she was a very light-skinned child. She is a very light-skinned child. And one day she wrote an essay about her commitment to African liberation. And when she was finished, the class was stunned, and she looked around, and she said, "Never mind my complexion, you know. I'm an African." And I'm recalling now, I'm making the connection between what the anthropologists, the archaeologists are all finding, that in fact, the whole human race is African. So this whole, the creation of racism in the world so that a few people can dominate the world and subjugate the rest of it is what really we're dealing with. And I think there's probably no better a person in Guyana today than Gerald Pereira, who can deal with how culture and politics and human development and personal development come together to either destroy a people or rejuvenate a people. Gerald Pereira is a writer, educator, theologian, and political activist. He is chairperson of Organization for Victory of the People, OVP, and an executive member of the Caribbean Pan-African Network, CPAN. He lived in Libya. He lived in the Libyan Jumeirah, they might pronounce that right, Jumeirah, for many years, I should have checked, and was a founding member of the World Mataba based in Tripoli, Libya. Please put your hands together for Mr. Pereira.
Thank you, Charlene, and good evening, everyone. I've given a certain amount of time, but what I'm going to do, I like to comment on a number of things and to get you engaged, to engage you. When you just mentioned about my daughter and her complexion and what she said, you know, Kwame Ture, formerly Stokely Carmichael, who developed the concept of Black Power, once said that Fidel Castro was the blackest man in South and Latin America. What was he talking about? He was speaking ontologically, not in terms of complexion, but the consciousness. Because when the Cubans were sending troops to go to fight against the apartheid regime in South Africa and the frontline states of Namibia and Angola, the planes came from Cuba and refueled here en route to Angola. And Fidel Castro, the Cubans took weapons that were important to their own defense and sent it to Africa to fight to defeat apartheid. And they fought a battle called the historic Battle of Quito Carnival, where the South African military was defeated on the battlefield with the help of the then Soviet Union and the main player in the then Soviet Union, Russia, and countries like Libya. And that is what led to the freeing of Nelson Mandela. Had it not been for that victory, Mandela would have been rotting in prison, because the Western imperialist powers, the United States, Britain, France, and every one of them who believe that they have some historic and moral right to lecture humanity on the virtues of freedom and democracy are hypocrites. The United States, Britain, and all of them supported the apartheid and racist regime in Southern Africa. So these are things we must remember. Because what is history? It's history we are talking here today. History is about who and what in the past informs and shapes the present. There is no present without a past. And the knowledge of the past is important to understand the present. The great C.L.R. James, who wrote Black Jacobins, it's right there on the shelf about the Haitian Revolution. James said the future is in the present. We keep getting it wrong. Look at how many years, brothers and sisters. I am not a young man. I'm almost touching 70 very soon. And I've been in political activism since 16. And I became a member of the Young Socialist Movement, which was the youth arm of the PNC. And in those days, we had a lot of organizations. We had the Revolutionary Socialist Student Alliance, the PYO, ASCRIA, Movement Against Oppression. And you see this university? It was a hotbed of activism. Fridays up here, this place would have been packed. And when they finish, the discussions end up out there. Today, look at what, this is the premier institution of higher learning in this country. And we are having a panel discussion on Haiti. And look at the turnout. I must congratulate Charlene, and I would like to congratulate each and every one of you for finding the time for being here. We keep talking about the young people and the young people and the youth, give the youth a chance. With what? Of course, all of us want to see the beer getting down, and we want to see the young ones in the vanguard, in the forefront, but they're not prepared for it. And I am going to move on now quickly because I'm disappointed, very disappointed. Charlene spoke of, when she quoted from Martin Carter, our poet laureate and one of the great Caribbean poets, when he said that invader is aiming at your dreams. That invader was the British. Today we have the United States imperialists who are aiming at your dreams and are bent on destroying anything that is emancipatory. The Haitian Revolution, there is something about the Haitian Revolution when you compare it. And I speak as a revolutionary. I believe that the alternative, the only way we can transform the modern plantations that we have in these micro-Caribbean nation states is through revolution. Pereira, what are you talking about? You're advocating guns and bombs and bullets? No, no, no. A revolution in the definition or what you see defined as revolution has nothing to do with whether it is violent or whether it is peaceful. A revolution is a complete transformation or dismantling of the existing status quo and its replacement by new forms of human, social, and production relations. Let no one fool you. Walter Rodney examined it carefully in Groundworks with My Brothers and how Europe underdeveloped Africa. Eric Williams in Capitalism and Slavery. The modern Caribbean, if you read the shaping of the modern Caribbean and you study the sociology of the plantation system is still intact in the Caribbean. The only country that initiated a revolution in contemporary times to dismantle the plantation social relations has been the Cuban Revolution. And that's why Cuba suffers and is under the embargo for years and years. It has nothing to do with communism or the ideology. The Americans fought Vietnam and the Vietnamese defeated them. And Vietnam is communist, but America does business with Vietnam. But you know why America blockaded and hates the Cuban Revolution? Because Cuba is the only country in the Caribbean that can freely assert its sovereignty. Every other Caribbean country is dictated to from Washington. Let no one fool you. Our independence, as Walter Rodney called it, is flag and anthem independence. It's a fake independence. It's briefcase independence. White supremacy, to be more specific, the Anglo-Saxons, they are very clever. They knew that when they were giving us independence, that the existing social arrangement is going to be problematic and will keep us fighting. And that is where we are today. And if we examine the Haitian Revolution, Why did the United States, why did the Western powers, especially United States, years after, decided that they're going to squeeze Haiti? Because any revolution that is aimed at achieving human dignity and breaking the bonds of slavery and colonialism and so, you'll earn the wrath of the Western powers. A revolution is different to a revolt. When we were in high school, they had us reading about all this nonsense about the glorious revolution in England. And that was the revolution. It was a king, right, James III, and he was deposed in a palace coup by his daughter, Mary II, and her husband, William III. They got together and deposed him, and they called it a glorious revolution because it was blood. It was a palace coup. Revolutions can start off initially either as military coups, and then they move on, or rebellions. The Haitian Revolution, as Roger pointed out, the Haitian Revolution and the revolutionaries in Haiti defeated 3 powerful European powers that were thrown against them to crush it. At that time, in the U.S. Constitution, if you read the preamble to the U.S. Constitution, it speaks about us having unalienable rights granted to us by our Creator. We are endowed with the right of liberty, right? Life, liberty, and happiness. But every one of the so-called founding fathers who drafted that document, they were all slaveholders. So when they were speaking about men, they meant white men. They were speaking about Africans and Indians and the indigenous people. They meant white men. And the French Revolution, no one can deny that the French Revolution was a great revolution. It changed the course of history, European history. It did. It did. Liberty, equality, fraternity was the watchword of the revolution. And they overthrew the monarchy, but it was a bourgeois revolution. It was a revolution of the rising mercantile class that saw the aristocracy and the king, the monarchy, as obstacles, and they got rid of them. But the revolution was not prepared. The French revolutionaries, some, not all, they were not prepared to extend this liberty and fraternity to the colonies. So when people like Toussaint and others heard of this revolution that is proclaiming liberty, fraternity, and equality, they say, hey, well, maybe, they're going to do something here. But then the French Revolution turned in on itself. It turned in on itself, and the French Revolution started. There was, of course, you had what you call, I don't like those terms, but the moderates and the so-called extremists or what. But it turned in on itself, and then it gave Napoleon and others a chance to push back all of that. And Napoleon decided that he was going to reign in Haiti. So he sent his forces against, and of course, he lost about 50,000 troops in Haiti and so. But the Americans, too, were not prepared to recognize Haiti because they were going to say, well, look, if we recognize this black republic, then how do we deal with the issue of slavery in our colonies? In the 30 colonies, how do we address that? So they were not prepared to recognize the Haitian Revolution. But the universality of the Haitian Revolution is what is very important, because all revolutions that are worth the salt always seek to expand their influence beyond their boundaries or borders. All. You cannot export revolution, but you can export revolutionary ideas. Revolutionary ideas catch on. And there was a period in European history that the Europeans call the Enlightenment. If you study European history, it's called the Enlightenment period. But we call it the so-called Enlightenment. Because that so-called Enlightenment period, all the philosophers of that period, all the so-called great philosophers that you read in, if you're doing philosophy or theology or sociology or what, every one of them, whether it was Hume, whether it was Hobbes, whether it was Hegel, whether it was Kant, even Marx couldn't escape some of that Eurocentric tinge or racism. They all believe that what the Anglo-Saxon people, what was particular, really particular to them, was universal, right? And that anything that came out of Europe was authentic and can be exported. And they ignored all the other people's contribution and so. But the Haitian Revolution, from day one, they said, look, anyone who escaped from slavery and land in Haiti would be free, considered free. And that revolution also sent assistance to help other struggles. When Simon Bolivar, in what is known as that area now today as Venezuela, Colombia, and those areas, Simon Bolivar, when he led the first insurrection against the Spaniards, to kick out the Spaniards, and he failed, he fled, he went to Jamaica, and then he left and he went to Haiti. And I think it was under Alexandre Pichon. The French Pichon, Alexandre Pichon. Yeah, Pichon, yeah. He outfitted his ships with printing press and gave him money and weaponry and everything, and told him that when he get back to there to lead the struggle, the first thing he wants, only one thing, condition, to free the enslaved Africans. And, you know, some people who write history said, well, Bolivar went back and he didn't keep his promise, right? He maintained slavery. No. In the early days when we were reading, I myself was a little carried away and was hard on Bolivar. But careful research, what happened was, Bolivar, and this happened in revolutions, Bolivar wanted to abolish slavery. But the revolutionaries, those around him, did not want it. Yep, right? They just wanted to keep the arrangement. Their idea was just to get rid of the expatriate, the Spaniards, and to create a national bourgeoisie who will run things in the country, but maintain the same relations. Good? And he fought against that, and they turned against him. He was frustrated at everything. Bolivar died ill and all of that, and those who were close to him were isolated and so. But the Haitian Revolution, before I close, right, in terms of the assistance it gave to other struggles, do you know that they sent, when the Greeks were fighting, the Greek Revolution, when the Greeks were fighting the Ottoman Turks for liberation, Haiti sent assistance. They sent they exported 25 tons of coffee so that the Greeks could sell it, and the money they get to buy weaponry and so. And they also sent a ship, 100 volunteers from Haiti, sailed to go and fight for the Greeks against the Ottoman Turks. And some way it is said by some historians, the ship, they never arrived. Of course, they were intercepted in the Mediterranean. The ship was attacked, right? And they were killed. But why I mentioned that to you is to show that the Haitian Revolution was an internationalist revolution. It was not just about Haiti, but it was about taking the ideals of the Haitian Revolution and, you know, in a very tangible way, seeing that it materialized in not only the region of the Caribbean and South America, but beyond. Thank you. All right.
I'm going to ask Sandy to take center stage now near the drummers with his guitar. And we are going to ask the drummers to close the event with the language of the drum. What we're actually doing is missing out the part of the program that said discussion. And I cannot ask you to stay, but what I will do is ask you to come and give your contact number if you're interested in continuing this conversation. So if you're interested in continuing this conversation, please leave us your contact number. And for the people online listening in, same thing goes. Please inbox me, Facebook, Charlene Wilkinson, so we can know that probably this can grow into another event.
I just want to say good night, good evening, everyone. My name is Sandy Siran. I am Haitian, and it's a pleasure to be here with my guitar to actually sing some songs for my country, but I guess we're running out of time, so I'll be able to do one song, which is very important to me as Haitian to sing this. So I just want you to give me like 2 minutes, please, okay? Good.
So let me bring this.
All right, this is a song speaks about the slavery trade when we were coming from Africa to the Caribbean. So I'm just gonna sing this. Des paroles, des poésies, des chansons, tas de mélodies. Brûler pour te rappeler ton passé, ça veut dire rien, non. Qui des versets inspirés de Dieu, dans le Coran ou les Testaments, traduit pour t'apprendre à aimer, ça veut dire rien, non. Néanmoins, au moins ton professeur d'histoire, dans tes années préparatoires, tes parents de la traité d'un noir, est-ce qu'il t'a pas dit non? Est-ce qu'on t'a jamais dit qu'on a le même sang? Est-ce qu'on t'a jamais dit qu'on est un seul clan? Est-ce qu'on te l'a jamais dit? Oh, 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 oh. Est-ce qu'on t'a jamais dit qu'on a le même sang? Est-ce qu'on t'a jamais dit qu'on est un seul clan? Est-ce qu'on te l'a jamais dit? Ensemble, ensemble on a fait la route d'Afrique jusqu'à l'Amérique, la même chaîne pour toi et moi. Ensemble sur le même négrier, ton père et ma mère ont laissé, bâtis, violés et maltraités. Oh, 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 Ango, yeah. Nous sommes du Congo, assez Ango, yeah. Nous sommes de Nigeria, assez Ango, 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 Ango. Nous sommes du Dahomey, assez Ango, yeah. But my hand we made strong. By the end of the Almighty, we follow in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, whoa, redemption. Redemption. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. I've no fee for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stand this song. How long shall they kill our prophet While we stand aside and look, some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, oh, redemption, oh, redemption. Hey, sing this with me. Haiti se que mwen remel. Haiti se nan mwen. Sing with me, everybody. Haiti se que mwen remel. Haiti se nan mwen. Sing, everybody. Haiti se que mwen. Haiti se nan mwen. Y'all could say it. Haiti se que mwen. That's when Haiti is my heart. Haiti se fos mwen. Sing. I say Haiti se que mwen remel. Haiti se nan mwen. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear to make energy, 'cause none of them they can stop this arm. How long shall they kill our prophet while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. So won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption song, oh Lord, redemption song, oh no, redemption song. Thank you. Oh, do we have time? Okay, Clifford is asking me to sing a song. It's actually a song that speaks our story. For those who don't know, when we leave Haiti to go to any country in the Caribbean, we must have a visa, right? And the only thing that we do is that we leave Haiti to seek for better life. So I came to Guyana. It's actually an investment, right? My parents put together money, they send me out. I have to work to take out the others. So, but unfortunately, this is not the story of all of us. Some of us are going out and they died during the process. So even in the Bahamas, when Haitians are leaving to go to the Bahamas, sometimes they died in the Middle Sea. So they wrote this beautiful song. It speaks about the story of a group man who take a small boat and say, you know what, we're trying to get the hell out of Haiti. But unfortunately, they didn't get to make it out. So they died in the sea. Histoire Saint-Jean, garçon qui prend la mer, qu'a cherché qui bon la vie fait coin. Nèg sa yo te gen tambou kat misère, yo obligé parti quitter famille loin. Yo pas même gen yon destination. Yo sous l'os convainc sous convainc. Nèg sa yo te gen yon seul vision. Quitter Haïti fait cap yo prend pour y aller. Au final jour a passé, nèg yo sous l'eau, désespoir te envahi yo. Pas de manger, pas même gain de l'eau. Qu'est sauté te emparé yo. Que yon qui dit penser pour t'entendre. Li t'habito la école bay requin. Li jeunes nan pays l'el gain demain. Chaque jour soleil la lève joindre li la pas fanyen. Yo finale. Next time yo même j'avem, yo te remè Haïti to ma pi. next I yo pas facile, non. Yo te obligé aller, désespoir, la vie chère pour cette eau y aller. Protestant aller, artisan aller, moins façon aller, même Clifaxon dit aller, nagan wo aller, nagan ba aller, tis oiseaux aller, attajo an san salé. Yo finale.
If you love Haiti, raise your hand. Wave your flag. Wave your flag. 1804, Haïti chérie. Oh, c'est où comme la vie. Même si m'a quitté, yo, je vais me retourner dans Haïti chérie. Même si pas la vie. M'a quitté, mais un jour m'a retourné dans Haïti chérie. C'est où qui pomme la vie. Yeah, yo, je m'a retourné dans pied. Retourné dans pied. Yo, je m'a retourné dans pied. Hey, 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 yo, je m'a retourné dans pied. La caille va se papiller. Yo, retourné dans pied. La caille va se papiller.
Lord give L'arrivée dans neige là, ou al Canada, ou al fait dollar. L'arrivée dans neige là, faut qu'à songer ti moun la caillou. L'on quitte pays ou al Canada, ou al fait dollar. L'arrivée dans neige là, faut qu'à songer ti moun la caillou. Mais c'est la caille qui va chercher. En aller, en aller. L'autre bout de l'eau, papa et maman. En aller, en aller. C'est la caille qui va chercher. En aller, en aller. L'autre bout de l'eau, papa et maman. En aller. Boy, ici, y'a nèg yo gen bel caille. En Haïti, nous gen ti jour donc non. C'est une façon pour nous faire ti dormir non. Pour nous bagader nan bel caille connect maman. Rejeter, 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 nous va rejeter. Rejeter, 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 nous va rejeter. Pas boy ici nèg yo gen avion. En Haïti, nous voler loup-garou. C'est une façon pour nous faire voyage non. Pour nous pas entrer dans cause grand nèg. Rejeter, 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 nous va rejeter. Rejeter, nous va rejeter. En Haïti, nous voler loup-garou. Bon, ici, en Haïti, il y a un avion. C'est une façon pour nous faire un voyage. Pour nous pas entrer dans ça fait grand nèg. Rejeter, 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 nous va rejeter.